Okay, in this video I'm going to attempt to quickly explain why when a plane flies over a globe Earth, why the pilot doesn't have to constantly make adjustments for the curvature of the Earth, and why the plane just naturally follows, and if the power is set to a certain amount, that it will maintain a certain altitude, barring like updrafts and other turbulence in the atmosphere. But just in general, the pilot doesn't have to consciously adjust for that because, well, the physics takes care of that. The reason I'm making this video is because in many flat Earth discussions and YouTube videos saying that the Earth is flat and there's no proof that it's a globe, this is one of the concepts that come up time and time again. So I just wanted to go over a quick video here showing why that's not a case for a flat Earth. It actually makes perfect sense on a globe Earth. So to start with, what you're seeing here is a program called Blender, which allows you to make 3D models and 3D animations for free, but it's also very powerful. And they've actually made some full-length movies or short movies using this that are very impressive. So you can just go online and look for Blender and you can see everything that can be made with it. And right here I'm just showing two views of the same thing, which is a sphere, and with a very crude model of a plane, just for demonstration purposes. It's not supposed to be realistic in any way. It's just showing the concept. So here you're looking at it from the side, and here this view is from a slightly different angle, and here I can move it around. You can see that it is indeed a sphere, and with a little plane over top of it. And then when I run the animation, you can see the plane going around the globe and keeping a fixed altitude. Now, I'm not saying this is, right now it's not simulating any of the physics of flying or anything. This is just going around in a circular motion around a sphere. But I'll use this to show the concepts of why, again, the plane or the pilot doesn't have to constantly adjust down. So what you have right here is the plane is now a certain distance above the Earth. Now, the higher you go from the surface of the Earth, the lower the air pressure is. Now, if you want to know why that is, you could look that up online. Here's a Wikipedia article about it, and it actually has a part here about how it varies with altitude. And there are countless other websites that also go over the same thing, so I'm not going to go into detail here. But just the higher you go, the thinner the atmosphere is, the lower the pressure, the lower the density. And planes basically work by having air go over the wings, and that creates lift. And the less air pressure, the less density of the air, the less lift that the wings produce. So as a plane is flying over the globe, over the Earth, as it's going along, if it were to go in a straight line, like this, as I hope you can see, its altitude over any point of the Earth would be getting higher and higher. Now, if the engine speed and power is constant, they're not changing that, then as the plane would go straight, the altitude above the Earth would be increasing, and so the density of the air would be decreasing, so the amount of lift the wings can produce with a constant engine speed would be reduced, so the plane actually drops in altitude. I can show it here, is that at this point, this is just relative, but its relative distance above directly below it would be 2.23. Here it just has millimeters, but 2.23. Then if you were to take this and move the plane over here at this point, it now would be 3.2, so it would be nearly 50% higher in altitude if we're to try to continue in a straight line. And as you go up in altitude, the air pressure and air density lessens, so the amount of lift the wings can produce on the plane lessens. So as the plane is going along, as it goes, the amount of lift the wings produce is lessened, So then it automatically, without having the pilot having to change the elevator or the yoke on the airplane, it just follows the curvature and keeps a consistent altitude above the surface of the planet. So this way, at any one point here, its altitude will be the same, so the pilot doesn't have to make adjustments. Just the physics of how air pressure and air pressure with altitude work will keep the plane at a relatively constant distance above the surface of the Earth. So again, that's in a nutshell, that's the basics of why a pilot doesn't have to constantly be adjusting for the curvature of the Earth. The difference in air pressure with altitude allows the plane to follow the curvature of the Earth.